This episode is brought to you by Bet Online, the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything online sports betting. With the season now here, we're going to be talking a ton about betting, and all of our numbers are going to come from Bet Online. They have every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while games are being played. I was looking earlier today at some of the odds on Bet Online, and a few of them stuck out to me. Jay Stu, of these bets, which one do you feel the best about taking? Oregon minus 300 to make it to the playoff, Oregon plus 800 to win the championship, Oregon plus 190 to win the Big Ten, or Dillon Gabriel plus 500 to win the Heisman.
Man, you said plus 190?
Plus 190 to win the Big
Yeah,
Ten.
yeah, whatever that one is, I'm taking that one every time.
Okay, you think so, huh?
Yeah, I like the plus 190 range. If you're gonna bet and get some reward, that's the one.
Yeah. Seems like semi-safe, but you're also getting a little bit of return on your money.
Yeah, but if I'm speaking from straight diehard, which I am,
Uh-huh.
national championship all day, baby.
I think
Putting
that's where I'm
1,000 on
going
it.
too. Plus 800, man, that's a good
Yeah,
return, and that's a
that
wide
little
open path this
put
year.
1,000 on it.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
After the games, you can even go over and play on the Bet Online casino and get into some of the blackjack or poker games, unwinding with your favorite slot games. Right now, you can receive a 50% free bet of up to $250 on your first deposit to bet on anything from the Olympics to baseball to Formula One racing. Head over to the website today to get in on all of the action and be sure to use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% off free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Again, that's promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to get a 50% off free bet credit. Bet online, the game starts here. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the latest episode of the Believe in Oregon podcast. I'm Zachary Neal, my co-host over there, Jonathan Stewart. Jay Stu, what's up, man? How you doing?
good. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. Sitting back, enjoying some Olympic basketball, watching some track and field. Do you get into the Olympics at all?
Yeah, I do get into the track and field events.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I ran track, the 100 meter, the 200, 4x1, shot put, and the
Did
long
it
jump.
all. Yeah, wow.
I didn't
Did
do
it
triple
all.
jump though. That triple jump is a little bit too. You have to be really athletic
It's
for
so
that.
technical. Like
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite events to watch because like the ground that they cover in
yeah, it's
those three
amazing.
bounds, it's like, oh my god, this is insane. But yeah, it's right before we started recording. Cole Hawker, former Oregon Duck, won the gold medal in the 1500. So, incredible race. That was a ton of fun to watch. So, yeah, if you're not watching the Olympics, like track and field, that's where it's at, man. It's just one of my favorite things to watch.
Yeah,
Um, we've got a shorter episode for you today. We went incredibly long last week with Scott Anderson and then our mailbag episode after that. So we're going to keep it a little bit short and sweet this week. I want to start with this. Jay Stu, it appears that we really pissed some people off last week with our Scott Anderson video talking about that team out west. We particularly pissed off some Ohio State and Michigan fans. Have you seen the latest numbers on the video that we put out on Twitter?
I have not seen the latest numbers.
So I sent you a picture of it over the weekend. I updated it this morning. The last I looked, just the video that I'm talking about, the one that was detailing, how audacious it was, Oregon's branding and this, the team out west moniker. Scott talking about that. The last time I saw it had 1.4 million views on Twitter,
Oh,
over
it went
500
viral.
retweets, a total of I think 532 replies, most of which are calling me and you idiots because fans for some reason think that we came up with this name and that we're the ones that are pushing this out. So,
Well,
but Scott said that the goal was for other fans and other teams to hate Oregon. That's literally what he's saying in the video, and I think
yeah.
that they accomplished that.
I think, job well done, Scott. And, if everyone wants to give us credit for, you know, labeling that team out west,
We'll
then
take it.
sure be it. I'll take it. But it was all Scott.
It was,
It was
yeah,
all Scott.
Scott and his creative team, yeah, they did a good job of, igniting some passionate fans in the Big Ten
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
saw a cartoon and it was like stick figures of a bunch of like stick figure
Yeah,
fans, I guess,
I
that were
know the one you're talking about, yeah.
like huddled around a Michigan and Ohio State logo.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and basically looking at the outcast of the Oregon fan that was holding, an Oregon logo that says that team out west, and it was like, oh, but you have 0 national championships, so how can you be that team out west? It's like, come
Yeah,
on,
heard
guys.
it all before.
But you know what? It can all change this year.
It can all change. It's just funny. I mean, the clash between Oregon and Ohio State fans is going to be something very
Yeah.
interesting to watch over the next couple of years because
Oh,
Oregon
you could
fans, I
go
mean,
different.
yeah, I'll be the first to say, and you know as well, Oregon fans, a lot of them are the worst. I mean, some
Yeah.
of these people on Twitter are so annoying and so, just arrogant in the worst parts of college football. I'm learning this week, after this week, look at my DMs and you can tell Ohio State fans are not great either. I've
Yeah.
been called several names over the past few days for people saying that I have no idea what I'm talking about, that Oregon will never be that team out west, that I'm stupid for coming up with that name. Hey, if you're
Yeah.
gonna give us credit for it, that's great. But no,
I
this is
didn't even really chime in. I
yeah,
looked at a couple of comments, and I'm trained for things like this where you
that's what
just
I was
turn
gonna
the other.
ask you. How are
You
you?
look.
I'm having to like learn how to do this now as my profile as a reporter grows, but you're good at this. You know how to tune out all of the social media and that noise.
Yeah, wherever there's smoke, there's fire. So
Uh-huh.
run away. Just like every animal, every human, every living thing on earth
Hmm.
has one thing in common. They know what smoke means,
Hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
if you're a deer in the forest and you see smoke, you go the opposite way. And for me, we were part of that smoke.
We were
So
part of the smoke. We fanned that
so
flame.
we fanned it, right? So don't keep flaming, don't keep fanning it. Just
Yeah.
dip out whenever you can and let them, suffer for the
Hmm.
time that they want to continue to watch the clip over and over and make themselves miserable and work up some words to, I guess you can't even say tweet anymore, but
Yeah. True.
work up some comments. But the way you do it is you see something that could go south real quick, you just ignore it and just continue to go on, man.
Yeah, after a couple days, I turned off the, I think it was after one day, I turned off the
Yeah.
notifications for that tweet, and I was like, "Alright, I'm done with this." And then a couple days later, I checked back in on it to see the numbers, and that's when I texted you. I was like,
Yeah,
"Whoa,
and you
okay,
probably felt pretty
this
good
is
about it. You're
continued."
like, "Oh, this
Ah,
is great. I forgot all about you people."
I was living my life, yeah, people were mad at me, that's fine, I don't care.
Yeah,
It did
yeah, you
not impact
probably
my life at all.
I went golfing a bunch this weekend,
There you
no care in
go.
the world.
How's the golf game? How are the new clubs treating you?
Ah, man, as you know, you get new clubs
Uh-huh.
and you're excited about it, but you gotta
'Cause that's
figure it
that's the
out.
fix, yeah,
Yeah, you gotta
the
figure it
golfer's not
out.
the problem, it's the equipment, right?
Well, you just gotta learn it. You gotta it's
Yeah.
different, different facing on the face there. It's smaller. Got blades basically,
Mhm.
so
Gotta dial them
um
in.
gotta dial them in. I actually went and did a charity function. Well,
Mhm.
not really a charity function. It's a paid appearance, but I got to
Nice.
sit on hole number 8 at TPC Piper Glen
Mhm.
and hit a bunch of golf shots over some water for a par
Nice.
3. And I saw one of the guys that came up, older guy, like 60 years old. Like I'm sitting there at the tent for about 4 hours, 4.5 hours, and I'm basically working on my 151-yard shot over the
Yeah.
water. And out of all the groups, I probably landed in the water 4 times, 4 to 5 times, which is
Okay.
pretty good,
That's fine. Yeah.
Um, not and so just an opportunity to work on my shot. But anyways, 60-year-old guy comes up and just knocks one in for a hole in
No
one.
way. That's
And I'm
awesome.
like, "Are you kidding me?" And he was legit just like, "Oh, cool."
Oh,
I'm
that
like,
was
"Was
that
that
was
your
fun.
first one?" He's like, "Yeah, that was my first hole in one."
Wow.
I'm like, "Are you not excited?" And he's like, "Yeah, I am." But he was the most
He
stoic
just
person I've ever
really
met in my entire life.
contained it.
Either he was stoic or he was hammered. So,
Maybe
uh
both.
but
That's
yeah, so
awesome.
that was my weekend. I got to
Yeah.
see a hole in one in person.
Man, I'm kinda bummed. I don't know how much golf is in my future because we've got practices now, not like my entire life, but like in my near future, my next like year or so, I don't know,
Yeah.
man, because we got practices now at evening, so I can't go to men's league, the weekly men's league. I've got my second kid on the way in like a month, so like
Mm,
once that happens, I don't think I'll be playing. So man, I don't know how many times I'm going to touch the club for the next year or two. It's a little sad.
yeah. It
I'm
is
gonna have to
sad,
live
man.
vicariously through you.
My daughter's 3. My youngest
Mhm.
daughter's 3, so that's like a good time to basically tell yourself, once my daughter's 3,
Okay,
I'm in the clear.
we'll get them out there. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
That'll be my plan. All right. One other thing I wanted to touch on before we get to our main segment today is Jay Harris. I guess I will do a little bit of self promotion here. Check out my piece on Jay Harris. I wrote a profile of him over the last week, titled "An Uphill Battle Led Jay Harris to Eugene, where he looks to change his family trajectory." It's a fun piece. Well, I shouldn't say fun piece. It was a piece that I really enjoyed doing and talking to Jay one on one about this, talking to teammates, his old coach, just basically about his upbringing and where he grew up and how he made it from a very very tough upbringing to the D2 level to Oregon, where now he's this is his shot. And I know a lot of, college athletes, college football players in particular know that, this could be their chance to make it to the NFL and change their family trajectory, like he's saying, and kind of get financial freedom and help his family out. But his story is really, really a cool one that I was very happy to tell. Very happy that he allowed me to tell it. I will put the link to the story in the description of this episode. But we've talked about Jay a lot on this podcast. You reached out to me this weekend after reading it. What did you kind of think of his story, and how did your perception of him change after hearing more about his story?
Oh, man, you did a great job, first of all, of capturing, his story. So kudos to
Thank you.
you. You
Appreciate
do
that.
this for a living. A lot of people do these things for a living and they suck at it. So you're really good at it.
Uh, Thank
Um,
you. I appreciate that.
but it seems like, we hear this all the time, and I mean, I'm living proof of a guy that wants to, um, do something for his family and put them in a better spot financially. I mean, obviously, the woes of, the black community, um,
Mhm,
where the struggles are when it comes to, the financial upbringing, and just how much further behind a lot of us are. And, the sport of football has given guys access to financial wealth and just mainly financial security, not
mhm,
just for themselves, but for their, family at large. And, but hearing, Jay Harris's story, or reading his story, his mother and father pass away at 2 years old. He's living with his grandparents. Um, and then grandfather passes away. Um,
Goes
and
into
now
foster
he's
care. Goes
and
into
now he's
foster
going to
care from
foster
there, yeah.
care, and then eventually gets back, to, graces with his grandma to be able for her to, take care of him, and not just him, other siblings,
He's got 4
you
other
know.
siblings all within 5 years of each other. It's crazy.
It's crazy, and so, like, I think just reading this story, like, you have to really look at a guy like that and say, I want him to win.
Mhm,
I want him to win, and whatever that looks like, I want it for him.
mhm,
And whether it's in college, NIL, like the deal, the money, like, that's why this is so important for these guys, and, for guys like him, where this is what he needs. He needs this.
mhm,
If this doesn't work out, like, now what? So if I'm a booster or of some sort, or some alumni that reads a story like this, like, I'm drawn to this
mhm,
opportunity. This is what this is all about. Yeah, you go to college, get an education, give yourself, an opportunity to, go ahead in life. But this is football, where guys have a platform to tell their story and maybe encourage others, but also to give themselves, you know, give themselves an opportunity to get ahead. This is what this is
Mhm.
all about. Football gives you an opportunity to showcase the talent that God gave you, and you put in the work, you put in the effort, and you raise the stakes for yourself. And like a story like this raises his stakes because he's had to overcome all of these types of things
Mhm.
in his life to get to where he is now.
Mhm.
And like I like what he said, he treated this like a job promotion.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's the mindset that you want out of any athlete,
Mhm.
because you understand that this is a business. At the college level, at the pro level, you treat it all the same. You work your tail off, and you'll get rewarded.
Mhm.
And I think his story, when it's all said and done, it's going to be one of those where we look back and say, man, like that was inspirational. I'm pretty sure a lot of kids' lives were going to be changed from the success of his story. Um, but yeah, this is the American dream, like for
Yeah.
real.
Well, and what I thought was really cool, I mean, we've talked to coaches and players about Jay Harris since he got here, and everyone always says, he works so hard. He's one of the hardest workers on the team. I talked to Noah Whittington about it. He gave me my favorite quote of the story. He said he works hard. This is paraphrasing. He said he works hard because he knows that this is his chance to change his
Yeah,
family trajectory. He
yeah,
understands that this is his shot, and that's why he's treating it with, he's giving every ounce of himself to this because he knows that if he wants a different life for his kids than what he had, this is his chance to do that. And Noah said that if you do 2 good years here at Oregon, you can buy whatever you want, man. I mean,
yeah.
you've got that potential to go to the NFL, get those signing bonuses and stuff to where you can have that generational wealth. So he understands this
Mhm.
opportunity, which I think is so cool because a lot of these kids, they've got the talent, but they don't really have the
Drive.
presence, the drive, and the presence of mind to understand that this is where you do it and this is what it takes. But he's seen from that upbringing how tough it can be, and so he knows that this is not an opportunity he's going to waste. So I had an awesome time talking to Jay and the people around him and telling this story. And we've talked very highly about Jay for a long time. I don't know if there's two people in the Oregon media sphere that are higher on this kid than we are, but
Yeah,
I could not think more of him after this because he's a really great kid. I really enjoyed talking to him.
yeah. I mean, when I first met him at Oregon signing day, I mean, his presence physically
Hmm.
is like
He's
this
yeah
right here is a pro athlete.
yeah he's huge.
So physically, he looks the part.
Hmm.
And from what I'm hearing in camp, he's playing the part.
Hmm.
And and hearing this interview, he sounds the part.
Hmm.
And you know that's the trifecta right there.
Yeah.
And I mean, you got a guy that just loves and he's passionate about football, where football becomes his escape.
Hmm.
You're hearing words like that coming out of a college kid, where like he understands what football is to him in his life at that age. Um, that's the type of guy that you want on your football team.
Hmm.
That's the type of guy that you want running a Fortune 500 company, where you know this is my escape. Whatever I'm passionate about becomes my escape.
Hmm.
Like that's where if I'm a coach, or if I'm a business owner, or a friend, like you mean to tell me if I'm a part of anything that Jay Harris is passionate about, like I'm gonna get
It's probably
all
going
of
to
that guy.
succeed.
It's gonna be and we're gonna have some success.
Hmm.
Exactly. Um. So yeah, man. I mean, I'm a big believer in you know passion is basically suffering, um, willing to suffer for something,
Hmm.
you know, and he's suffered, and and he's gone through it. Like I'm probably sure there's sleepless nights of, him, having some anxiety of, man, I hope this works out.
Hmm.
And you know how you cure that anxiety is you get up in the morning and you go figure it
Hmm.
out, you put in the work.
Prepare.
So,
Hmm.
but yeah, so good for him, man. That was a great article.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. It was a lot of fun to write. It's fun to kind of like I don't we don't write features a lot in this profession. It's more about day to day stuff, injury reports, stuff like that. It's fun to break out a 2,000 word article and actually tell a story like that. So again, go
Mhm.
read that. It's on duckswire.usatoday.com. I'll put the link in the episode description for that as well. All right, let's get to our main segment of the day. Fair warning to all the listeners out there: this segment is one of those games or things that I've put together where honestly I have no idea if it's going to be good content or not. I was trying to remember. There was a segment probably a month or two ago where I said the same thing. I went back through our episodes to see what it was, but I couldn't remember what it was. But there was one thing where we did. It's like, you know what? This may be terrible content, but I don't know. We're gonna try and do it. So we're doing that again today. We would normally do a training camp update right here, but honestly, we have not been able to see training camp practice yet. We're going to our first one this afternoon, so we'll see what we have next week on that front. But instead, I want to play a game I'm calling betting would you rather. So we all know the classic would you rather game, but we're going to do that with betting lines. So I'm going to give you a couple of different lines and you say which one that you would rather bet. Sound good?
Mhm. Yep.
So it's pretty straightforward. All of our lines are courtesy of our sponsor, Bet Online. Quick disclaimer: you have to answer these questions as if the money really matters to you and not as a former Pro Bowl running back that, shall we say, has some impressive career earnings. Is that a deal?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay. All right, let's start with this one. Would you rather bet Oregon to win the championship at plus 650 or Oregon to make the college football playoff at minus 300?
Minus 300.
You think so? You think that's a safer bet, even though it's just very minimal return?
This is definitely the safer bet.
'Cause I don't, yeah, it's definitely the safer bet. I don't see many outcomes where they don't make the playoff this year. It'd have to go
Yeah.
pretty bad for them not to make the playoff.
Yeah. It would have to be very bad. But you're asking, would I rather bet the safer bet? And the answer is the safer bet on that one. 300
Yeah.
minus 300. Yeah, I'm not gonna really go on a plus 600 anything.
Yeah. Well, and like they could definitely win the championship, but is plus 650 enough of a
Yeah.
return for like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's possible, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I would like, plus 800, 900, plus a
Yeah.
thousand odds if I'm going to get that.
Yeah. If I'm gonna like feel any type of like gravitation, it would
Hmm.
definitely need to be more than that.
All right, next one. Would you rather bet Evan Stewart to win the Bolitnikoff Award at plus 1,000 or Tez Johnson to win the Bolitnikoff Award at plus 1,400?
1400, Tez
Yeah.
Johnson.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I was
that's a real
surprised
that's
that there was that much disparity.
and I almost think that that's a realistic like deal for sure.
Yeah.
That's a bet for real.
Yeah, they've got that on Bet Online. Head on over there.
Y'all better go bet on that. Y'all
Yeah.
better do it today. hundred
Tez
dollars.
Tez Johnson plus 1,400. I think that's the right bet too because, it'd be one thing if Bo was coming back because you'd have that connection between Tez and Bo. I know they're both new receivers with Dillon Gabriel, but
Yeah.
Tez has a year in this system. He knows this offense and he knows Will Stein. So I like his odds a little bit
Yeah.
more than Evan Stewart, but I could see Evan doing this as well.
Yep.
Would you rather bet Oregon to win the Big Ten at plus 190 or Oregon to win the championship at plus 650?
190.
Yeah, I think so too. We talked about
Yeah.
that in our Bet Online ad. I think that's still probably the right area. You're getting a little
Mhm.
bit of return. It's a safer bet. I think that's probably right.
Yeah. I'm down with the if there's ever a plus 100 anything,
Hmm.
I'm down with those bets.
Yeah,
Just to keep
especially
it just to keep cuz I mean especially your reward's not great, but it's something.
it's plus money. Yeah,
Yeah. It's something and it should happen if you
and
feel
it's
strong
close
about it.
enough. It's close enough to even money that you can feel really confident and
Yeah.
like have a good feeling about that outcome. So yeah, I
Mhm.
think plus 190 is probably what I would do is there as well. Would you rather bet Dillon Gabriel to win the Heisman Trophy at plus 500 or Jordan James to win the Doak Walker Award for the best running back at plus 2,500?
Mm. Bucky was up for that award last year, right?
Mhm. I think he was a semifinalist, if I remember correctly. I'd
Man,
have to go back and look.
I'm gonna have to go with Jordan James.
Really?
I'm gonna go
Okay.
with Jordan James because last year, just watching him come in and spell Bucky, I'm
Mhm.
thinking to myself, this is a prototypical running back that
Mhm.
is running angry.
Yeah.
And I love it. And so if they're gonna utilize him like that next year, like we're gonna get a lot of Jordan James.
I think I'm gonna disagree with you. I think I would go with Dillon Gabriel plus 500 for the Heisman, just because
Yeah, but
basically
that's you might not get that, and you're gonna lose 500. You're gonna lose that bet.
I
You
don't
might
think
as well
so.
you might as well take a $10 bet and put it on Jordan James because you're gonna lose
Uh,
that plus 500. It's it's weird ground.
okay, but hear me out here. So the Doak Walker obviously goes to the best running back in the nation. The Heisman pretty much goes to the best quarterback in the nation on one of the best teams.
I hear you.
Dillon Gabriel on one of the best teams, one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. If Oregon is good and in that college football playoff mix, I think he is absolutely in New York. He's the hands down favorite right now. I mean, Georgia's Carson Beck is plus 750. He's number 2 on the list. So I think that there's a
When are the votes casted? Are they casted before playoffs or after
I think
playoffs?
it's before playoffs. I think. I don't know how that changes this year, but on a normal year, it's right after conference championship weekend. So last year was right after the Pac-12 championship game. Which is why
Hmm,
Bo Nix got hurt in the
yeah,
standings, and Michael
because if
Penix
this is
did
before
well.
playoffs, then you might have some say there. But if it's after playoffs or like somewhere, yeah, I don't know.
It's after playoffs, I feel even better about Dillon
Well,
Gabriel.
no, because it's a long season, and you know what I'm saying. You got to
You
run
gotta
the
run the
rock,
rock, but
baby.
you gotta pass it too.
Got to pass it. But if
I think
people
both
over
of
there,
those are pretty good bets, honestly.
yeah,
I would
these
I
are.
would
I'm actually. If I'm you,
uh-huh.
listener, go Jordan James and Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, why not do both?
Yeah, do
There
both.
we go. That's a good answer. Maybe we could do that for all of these. Let's just put all of our bankroll on everything Oregon this year. What could go
Yep, do
wrong?
it. Spend it.
All right, last one. This one is a little bit more interesting. Would you rather bet Jordan James for the Doak Walker at plus 2,500 or Noah Whittington at plus 10,000?
Jordan James.
You think so? Is that just straight
Yeah,
up? Yeah.
straight up. Yeah, straight up.
See, I want I don't know what I want. I want Jordan James to be the bell cow, but I also know that Noah Whittington is so good that I don't want him to be relegated to a smaller role. So I feel like if Whittington is in that conversation, there's no chance that Jordan James can win it. But
Do you
if
remember a
Jordan,
guy named LaMichael James?
I do, yeah, I think I know him.
Oh, yeah. Do you remember that other guy they call him the young black mamba? Uh,
Yeah,
young
yeah.
mamba?
Remind
What
me.
was his name? Yeah. That's how that can work out, okay?
It's true. It's true. Yeah,
You know?
we'll see.
So,
I don't know. We've had this conversation a million times. We talked about it last week. I can't wait to see how they split carries between these three backs
yeah.
because once again, I have no idea how they're gonna do it.
Yeah, because Noah Whittington has that speed. He has that get gone speed, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that reminds me of I'm not gonna obviously he's DeAnthony Thomas is another level of
Tier of his own.
yeah, he's like in like Marvin the Martian or something out there in space
Yeah,
as far as where he is in this realm of
that fits
um
D'Anthony too.
yeah. But so I'm not comparing, but I'm saying there's, you know, a similar situation
Mm-hmm.
as far as how they can run things, and it can
Yeah.
bring some nostalgic feelings for the Oregon Duck fans, and it'll be all good.
And then Jay Harris is just gonna run right through you.
And just Jay Harris is going hopefully Jay Harris, you listening to this, if you ever get on the goal line, just jump over the pylon, though. Just
There we go.
jump over the center, A
Yeah.
gap, hit the A gap, just jump. You're
Yeah.
tall, you probably can jump out of the gym. It's a touchdown every time.
I would love to see that. All right, that's gonna do it for us today. Thank you for tuning in. Again, go subscribe to the show, rate, review, all of that stuff. Help us grow our audience. We're getting really close to the start of the regular season, so we want as many people listening as we can. We've seen those numbers tick up consistently over the past few weeks. So thank you guys for doing what you're doing. Continue to spread the word for us. Jay Stu, you got anything else to add before we get out of here?
Nope. Drink some Nirvana super water.
Ah, okay. Not a sponsor could be. Maybe you
Yeah.
should do something to get them to sponsor this episode of
Yeah.
this
As a
podcast.
matter of fact, that just came to my brain.
Why not? You got a lot of ads out there. You should kind of shell
Mm,
them this way.
yeah. Yeah. We should. Yeah. We got to get that plugged in.
Let's talk. Let's an off pod talk.
All right.
All right. You can check out more of my work at duckswire.usatoday.com. Follow me at Zachary C. Neal on Twitter. Follow Jay Stu on Twitter at Jonathan StuR1. Make sure to check out the Believe in Panthers podcast. For myself, Zach Neal, for my co host, Jonathan Stewart, we'll talk to you guys next week. Until then, take it easy.